This is an overview of Lesson 4, Getting a Job in Computer Science. Here we see the lesson plan for Week 4. The lesson is broken into 2 days. Day 1 is about teaching the students job searching skills in computer science, like resume writing and interviewing. Day 2 is set aside for the first meeting with their mentor. You can see the learning objectives is how to learn to approach finding a computer science job, including interviews, resumes, and how to establish a relationship with their industry mentor who they'll be meeting that week. The course material here has a number of videos that will help the students learn about how to do resume writing and interviewing and job searching in computer science. Each of these short videos is quick and to the point, and you'll be assigning them based on your classroom strategies for I do, where you show the video to everybody, then the you do and the we do. The we do being that they do it together, and you do, you give it for homework. But they need to watch these videos to get some idea of the professional skills for computer science job search. And this is detailed down here in the Day 1 overview, where you talk a little bit about how to create a resume, and you can show them sample resumes. So under Teacher Resources, we have sample resumes and actually the sample resume is here under the Student Resources. So you can show them sample resumes so they have some idea where they're going. And please assure them that as students in high school, their resumes may not have that much experience on it, but this is part of the point, is to build that up. And again, you can see in Day 1 that we're recommending the I do, you do approach to showing videos so that the students can watch them, some as a group, but some on their own, and aren't overwhelmed by the number of videos. For that day, there's a Getting a Computer Science Job Search activity guide. Clicking on that, you can see that there's to use the information that they got from you and from the videos to answer questions about the job search, about how they write their resume, like points on what makes a good resume, how resume review might be done, and then a section on interviewing, phone interview skills, in-person interviews, all of these covered in the video that you assigned. Then Day 2 is set aside for the first meeting with their mentor. Now that may not be exactly Day 2. Some of this is your coordination as the teacher with the mentor as to what day the mentor can either come in or Zoom in or whatever way you can have to meet with the mentor. And we have 2 different ways to do this. One is you could do a quick introductory meeting, or maybe it's just a Zoom into the classroom, or depending on what you've coordinated with your mentor, you might want to even do an industry site visit where you've organized a field trip out to the mentor's place of work, and the mentor has agreed to take you on a tour, you and your students on a tour, and talk with the students about their industry projects. It's ideal if they have a chance to do a site visit. Sometimes that's not practical. So this is up to you and your mentor to decide whether you're going to do a quick introduction and or a site visit. But there's material provided to you and to your mentor, all your mentors, because the mentors have their own training and materials, which are coordinated with yours. But you can see here there's a mentor guide for the site visit and a mentor guide instructions that help you as the teacher and the mentor plan for these visits. Clicking on the mentor guide for introductions, we can see that this is an overview for you and for your mentor. This is not to be shared with the students. A guide for you and your mentor as to how you can set up that first visit. It has an overview of what the first visit should be about, some of the outcomes we're expecting out of the first visit, like students getting to know their mentor, inquiring about CS fields based on things they've learned in class, etc. The mentors are also shared an overview of the academic work you've been doing with the students, like going to computerscience.org to explore careers, like professional skills like professional emailing. All of the things you've done with your student, we have an overview so the mentor knows where your students are academically. And there's a list of artifacts created by the student in case the mentor wants to see some student work, like their personal website, their resume, their group contract. We also provide a sample overview of what that first meeting might look like. For instance, the mentor introduces themselves, 6 to 10 minutes. If you have multiple mentors that you're doing this with, some teachers do it such that all the mentors that have been assigned to their classroom do this introduction, and the students get some choice into which mentor they want to work with. Maybe they resonated with one of the mentors better than the others. So that's a potential way to go about this. So we have a overview of what this meeting can look like, where, for instance, the mentors do introduce themselves. They share things about their entry-level positions in their field. Some follow-up or elaboration that you and the mentor can have with the students, and just some general notes. So this is a structure to help you guide what that meeting might look like and help the mentor make the best of working with the students and getting to know them initially. That guide was more for a general introduction, not for a site visit. If it's a site visit that you've arranged, we have a second guide for that here. Clicking on that guide, we see that it has more of a 2-hour agenda, assuming that the bus trip, you've gone out there on a bus, you're at the industry mentor's place of work. What are some of the things you can do? And again, it's an introduction to the mentor, to their company, potentially a tour of the company, and the start of a discussion of what kind of projects the industry mentor is working on, and what kind of websites the industry mentor might be interested in having the students create. Because remember, one of the forms of websites the students can choose to create is something that's relevant to the industry mentor's place of work. So this is a chance while they're at the mentor's place of work to have the discussion about what kind of websites the mentor might want to see from the students. Again, this is not a mandate from the mentor on what to do. It just starts to seed ideas that the students can then do in the ideation process, which they're going to start in the next week. The assignment that week is for the students to make a resume and to post it on their Google site. Let's take a look at the assignment. Again, they have students make the resume on their Google site so they can see that Google sites can be used for all kinds of things like information sharing. Now, many of your students may have created a resume. Often it's done in an ILP in the schools. If the students have a resume to work with, that's great. They can use that as the basis for this activity. In fact, they should. But basically, it just has them create their resume using some of the techniques shown in the videos that we had before, yet do it in a way that they can put it onto the Google site. So in addition to learning the skills of developing a resume, interviews, and a job search, this week has been important because they got to meet their mentor, and the previous week they'd started thinking of some ideas they might want to use to make for their projects. Hopefully, after meeting with their mentor, they'll have even more ideas. And part of this week was also just to give them time to come up with even more ideas, so that next week, when we start the ideation process, a whole process used by the software industry to come up with the ideas that teams build software with, that when the students embark on that next week, that they're ready and they've started thinking about it the previous week and this week, coming up with some of those good ideas.